Coming to you live from the Galaxy Foil Plains at the Edge of Eternities, it's Tap Tap Concede. Hello, everybody. I am Kathleen, and this week I am joined by Nelson.
Hey, that's me.
And Cameron.
Huh?
And we are here to talk about Edge of Eternities Limited. But before we do that, we have a little bit of housekeeping. I want to say thank you so much to the sponsors of this podcast, cardkingdom.com. Use our affiliate code, which is /LRR, and say, Lur sent me button, please, and get a free 1-inch button with your order that has a pithy statement on it and that does exist, but they have not updated the spreadsheet to show us which one they are on. So when you get your button, please add us on Blue Sky at Loading Ready Run and let us know what it said. And also, if you're like, oh, I ordered all these great cards, but now I need something to put the cards in, why not use Dragon Shield? You can go to the Dragon Shield website and use code LRRMTG for 5% off your order. That's a discount. That's not nothing in today's day and age. And we really appreciate that. And speaking of things that we also appreciate, if you're like, well, I like Loading Ready Run, but I don't need to support them through some sort of third-party mechanism. What if I just gave them cash directly? We do that. My Venmo is... No, I'm joking. I'm Canadian. I don't have Venmo.
We have a functional banking system.
Yeah, we could just do that.
Yeah.
I don't need an app for that. I could just send money through my bank. But the point being, you can also send money through Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Your support is a huge part of the reason we are here. We're able to keep making fun content like this and do these things. So thank you so much for everyone who's supported, liking, sharing, subscribing, listening, commenting, or just otherwise engaging with us as we talk about EOE.
I'm going to be pedantic and just remind people, cardkingdom.com/LRR, and it's code LRRMTG5.
Yes, what did I say?
You just said code LRRMTG.
Oops.
That's all good.
Yeah.
No.
The little known fact, you can put any number there after the
Right, yeah.
LRRMTG.
Try code LRRMTG
Yeah,
100 for free
fractionals.
sleeves.
Try to throw like an imaginary number in there.
LRRMTG
negative.
pi, you know.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Try putting a letter in there. Just like run QA on it. See what happens.
LRRMTG 69.
Yeah.
Nice.
Spell out a number.
5 FIVE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, let us know if that works. Find us on Blue Sky. But seriously, we are here to talk about the black sky, the big black sky space.
Yeah.
Because it's Edge of Eternities. It's a wild and weird new Magic setting. And of course, a brand new set. We love the flavor of it. I think basically everybody is just like in love with the look and the flavor of the set. But how's the gameplay? That's what we're discussing today.
Yeah. I just want to say, Cameron Lauder vindicated. I was really positive about this set way back in the days of like Outlaws of Thunder Junction, when people were like, I'm going to go back to Dominaria. I want sword and board for everything. And I was like, I don't know. I have good feelings about Edge of Eternity. Cameron Lauder speaks and the wind blows. I was right.
Yeah. Set cool. Story good. Flavor interesting.
I really like that the first spell that we cast in the pre-release was that like Chrome Companion or whatever, the cute little corgi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact name of this card. I'm sorry.
It
I
is
don't
Chrome
have
Companion,
I don't have my
pretty
pre-release kit from the PPR in front of me because I was just judging it and didn't get any cards, but it is Chrome. I just remembered it. Go Nelly. Yeah. And this card is actually kind of worth talking about for gameplay reasons. So it's a 2-mana 2/1, so Piker, not longer exciting or really worthwhile on rate stats for limited or any format anymore, but still costs 2 mana. That's the relevant thing. And then it's artifact creature dog with probably the best art in the set. And it says, whenever this creature becomes tapped, you gain 1 life. And it comes with a way to tap it, although all creatures come with ways to tap them unless they have defender. And the tap ability is 2 and tap, put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. Now, the relevance of that ability, I'm not sure if is baked in. Probably there's some mechanic that cares about the graveyard in this set. I've forgotten, but there's, always some cards that target things in the graveyard. And obviously, if you can do a really long game, you just want to make your, library keep going. Mm-hmm. But it's just some way that you can build into the card to gain the 1 life. And then, of course, there's the spacecraft.
Yeah, station the dog.
Station mechanic. So a couple different ways that you can get these extra points of life, which are obviously relevant in limited races.
And the artifact creature type is not irrelevant as well. There's a lot of things that sort of care about artifacts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when you're staring across from an opponent, right, nobody's really able to attack, gaining a point of life might not be meaningless
No.
in whatever happens
Absolutely.
next. And I also kind of like, you know, targeting something that your opponent has just tried to reanimate. Classic move. I think lander tokens might make putting good cards from your graveyard back in your library a little more viable, just because it's going on the bottom, but then you shuffle with a lander token.
That's true. That's true.
You might peel it next turn.
It's true.
It could happen.
Yeah.
Right? It could happen.
Get your bomb that they dealt with back into your deck, and a few lander tokens later,
Yeah.
maybe it's your draw.
Yeah. That's probability. Can I talk about a card that dog absolutely hoses, but is really great?
Yeah.
It's a black rare called Zur-Ifit Osteoharmonist.
Yes.
I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that
I think
name
it's just Zoo-Ifit.
Zoo-Ifit, and it's like XU, unfortunately.
Yes, XU, the Osteoharmonist.
Yeah, you tap him. There it is, Zoo-Ifit.
I think it's a she. I read some canon, and I think Zoo-Ifit's backstory is that they're trying to find a way to bring their wife back to life or from the edge or whatever, right? Like their wife is trapped on the event horizon or something.
Yeah, this is like if Alpha stuck with the Monoists and tried to get his sister back.
Right. I don't think that's the kind of thing that they would do. I thought they were very excited to go to paradise.
Yeah, people were like, man, Stan our necromancer wives. And then you read the backstory and it's like, no, she's experimenting on people and like sending them into black holes and then trying to pull them back out and getting like pieces out. And it's like,
Yeah. But
cool card.
Our problematic necromancer wives.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Zool Asher if we're looking for a necromancer waifu that's a little bit more.
Yeah, everyone loves that hair.
But let me talk about the card ability, which I did one draft, and this card was one sealed, and this card was in my deck because I played on Graham's account on the pre-release on the special day.
Sure.
And Graham was like, "Wait, you can that doesn't exile the card when you make it a skeleton?
No, it just brings it back in. Yeah.
No, you just bring your best card out. Maybe I had like the 4/1 Menace, which I'm okay on.
Right.
It's the rare.
It doesn't make you pay mana either. Sorry, we should read the cards for the audio listeners. I'm sorry.
1 black for a 2/3. Tap. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a skeleton in addition to its other types and has no abilities. Activate only as a sorcery. So tap it. You get, if you have a 4/1 in your bin, as I did, tap it. Now you have a 4/1 skeleton. You block with the 4/1 skeleton. It goes to your bin. Next turn, you tap Zoo-Ifit, and you get the 4/1 skeleton back.
Yeah.
And Apprentice Necromancer has come a long way.
This card's so good because, as Nelson points out, you don't have to pay mana, and as I said, it doesn't exile the card, so you don't need much in your bin.
Yeah, there's no finality. Like, where's the finality counter?
Exactly.
No finality counter.
That's exactly what Graham said. He said, "Wait, you don't get a finality counter for that?" And I was like, "Nope."
Also, you mentioned 4/1, and we should probably bring up the card you were almost certainly talking about. It's 1 black mana for an artifact creature 4/1 defender, right?
No.
This is a 4/1 rare with menace.
Oh, that one's even better.
Yeah.
The what's that one called?
Great question.
Adam played it.
Yeah,
and it has. Sorry, James, we don't remember the names of any cards. Great podcast hosts, right? But a couple of 4/1s we want to talk about. Right?
Yeah, Sunset Saboteur.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sunset Saboteur. We got to see this at the PPR in Adam's deck. Turns out he had 2 of them. But a 4/1 Human Knight for only 1 and a black with Menace, Ward, discard a card, and, this is interesting, whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and opponent controls.
Well, you can do all sorts of things to make it so that they don't get that counter.
Yes.
You want to be holding... You want to have at least be aware of how full control works on Arena if you have this card.
Right.
Yeah, also, like, maybe you kept a slow hand and your opponent flops this on 2.
Ugh.
And then you're in deep trouble.
Yep.
You are in I died to this because Adam played this, and I was like, I had to pass the turn because I had a 3-drop.
Right. The other thing is it has Menace, and one turn he even just like made your creature bigger, but it's like, well...
Yeah, completely irrelevant.
The first creature getting bigger isn't actually a problem for the Sunset Saboteur. Yeah.
Nope.
Okay, but this is a great target. It does lose Menace and Ward, discard a card, but it also loses putting +1/+1 counters on your opponent's creatures if you have the Harmonist, right?
Yeah, and a 4/1, I don't care what its toughness is.
Sure. But also, especially when you're getting for free from the Osteo-Harmonist. But
Yeah.
like, those are both rares. Say you get Zoifit and you want to pair it with something cool that's a common. There is, help me with the name if you can remember, 1 black mana, 4/1 artifact creature defender. That's the whole That's the whole card. Thank you.
Monoist Sentry.
Monoist Sentry. Okay, so this is an uncommon, but still. Now the card is getting even better. You block with your 4/1 defender on anything, and then the Osteo-Harmonist brings it back, and now it doesn't have defender.
Now it can attack.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now they have to
Also,
deal with your 4/1 every turn.
Love the art here, just lifted clean from Alien Covenant.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, as the Neomorph is being lifted off the planet on the loader.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Is that one worth a watch? I'm like halfway through
It's
all
a
of the Alien
profoundly
content.
Stupid movie.
Yeah.
But it's actually extremely well directed with a couple of really, really tense action sequences that just keep going.
Okay. I like that in a movie. Like, like the movie The Raid, like a weird shift happened to me while I was watching that movie where I'm just like halfway through this like 45-minute long action sequence or whatever. I'm like, wait, I'm enjoying this. Because like after the 5th minute or something, I was like, I'm kind of bored, but I guess I'll stick around. I'm not doing anything else. And it's obviously things are moving in front of me. And then eventually I was like, wait, now it's starting to really grip me. How long can they keep this going? So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Asides.
Can I talk
Magic
about
cards, yeah.
Can I talk about another black common? Well, I guess we haven't talked about any commons yet, and then maybe we'll move off black. But I want to say MVP Virus Beetle.
Oh, yeah.
What a great reprint. We've played it before. It was in Kaladesh. Kamigawa.
Yeah, Neon Dynasty.
Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. And honestly, it's such a good fit in this set because, like, there's lots of things that let you get things back so you can recycle your virus beetles. There's lots of things that want you to, like, sacrifice things. So these are great things to sacrifice. There's lots of things that just care about having artifacts. So this is just like, to me, this is like one of them, like, oh, it doesn't look like it's anything special, but it just does so much in this format that it's like, to me, this is like surprisingly good, even though it looks low key, right? Mm-hmm. That's my read on the card.
Very good.
Yeah. Actually, is there one more black common we could talk about?
I was going to say, I want you to bring that one up after we talked about Virus Beetle.
Perigee Beckoner.
Oh, yeah. That's
4
a
and a
good card.
black for a 4/5 horror. With the text, when this creature enters until end of turn, another target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains, when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. It also has Warp for 1 and a black. And what Warp does is you flop it onto the battlefield, and then at the next end step, you pick it back up, or you put it into exile.
So pretty glamorous play pattern here. You can flop Virus Beetle, then on turn 3, warp this in, ask them if they want to take 3 or have to discard another card. They're going to take 3, right? But then when it comes back in on 5, then it's a harder choice probably. It's, more turns have elapsed. Maybe they've taken more damage from your other creature that you played on turn 3. And it's like, now it's a harder decision of whether I can dip down below 10 life or if I'm willing to discard another card. But really good synergy between these two black commons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and especially feels great if you've got Umbral Caller's Zealot.
Right.
Who for 1 and a black gives you a 3/2 human
cleric.
Right, yeah, would sacrifice another creature, artifact, surveil 1. And this is just an all-time banger of a card. Love it. Give me more of these. I will first pick this every time. I will ruin any draft I encounter.
Does it go in Aristocrats?
This one does. Yeah, it's good.
Whoa, good point. We finally...
It makes the cut. Yeah. For a 3/2 for 1 and a black, it can block.
Right.
You don't pay anything for sacrificing. You don't even have to tap it.
It's part of your secret curve of good cards that can pop out of an Aristocrats deck, right?
Sometimes Aristocrats decks also play good cards.
Yeah, every now and then you just look like a normal deck for 4 turns.
This is just a Viscera Seer, but it's better.
Yeah, Viscera Seer with great stats. Yeah, +2/+1 on a Viscera Seer, exactly.
Well, but also, Viscera Seer was just scry, right?
Yes, so this is better for that reason too.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
also,
suiting this up with barbed war gear.
Oh, sure, grafted war gear.
Yeah, grafted war gear.
Yeah, awesome.
Hit you for 6.
All right,
but in this limited format too, like sack outlets are sought after in especially black red, I think, right? And this one being free is like definitely one to watch out for.
And just best friends with Perigee Beckoner.
Yeah.
Right, because you get the card back, you get it back, and it feels great.
And yeah, if you wanted to like take that play pattern we talked about with the Virus Beetle from earlier, and instead now on 5 mana, you're warping in the Perigee Beckoner, hitting them for 3. They're like, okay, yeah, I just want to take the damage. I don't want to discard the card. And then with your spare mana, you bring in your sack outlet. And you're like, well, how would you feel about taking the damage and discarding another card, right?
I was about to say, like, woo.
Yeah.
Yep.
So watch out.
That's a nasty 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn. That's a good turn 4. You get a 3/2.
Well, 5, I think. Is it 2 black for the warp or 2 mana
It's
for the warp?
one in black.
It's only 1 in black. Sorry, I was thinking Perigee Beckoner costs 3 to warp in. Okay.
No.
Only 2. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it kept getting me actually during
Okay.
pre-release or pre-release because I was looking at the card and thinking like, I should warp this in. La 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 la. Your turn, right? Like because 1 in a black is a great rate for this effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? You just get you push some extra damage through, or they're like, I can't take that much, right? Occasionally, but they don't.
Yeah.
You just push extra damage through.
It's a choice of evils, right? Like whether you're going to feel bad about the decision either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what you can also do is you're like, but what do I do with my big 4/5 plank that's not doing anything on turn 2? You crew a station, baby.
Yeah.
A spaceship or a planet. Mostly spaceships. The spaceships I have some thoughts about, but some of them are really worth crewing.
Let's get into it.
4 crews a lot.
After watching the PPR, I think I'm cautiously optimistic about the station mechanic. Like, there's not a lot of planet cards, right? Are they all rare?
I think they're all rare.
Okay, yeah, but there's common and uncommon spaceships.
Yes.
So these spaceship cards all require something from your board before they are active and do anything. Yeah, do we want to pull the name up of one?
Yeah, I was about to say, let's bring up any spaceship.
Let's just bring up, actually, the one that I wound up playing was Fell Gravship.
Okay, so Fell Gravship. This one actually does come with an ETB ability, right?
Right.
Yeah, so 2 and a black for an artifact spaceship with, when it enters, mill 3 cards, then return a creature or spacecraft from your graveyard to your hand. So you get a raised dead effect with a bit of a bonus where you milled 3. It can hit any creature or spacecraft. It doesn't have to be from the milled cards. But 3 mana to draw 1 card, that's not what you're paying for, right? If you just want to have some sort of get something back from your yard, hopefully you're only paying 1 or 2 mana for that. But it has station, which first time we're talking about on this particular episode of the podcast. That's tap an untapped creature you control. It can be summoning sick, and then put charge counters on this equal to the power of the tapped creature. Then once this one it has 8 or more charge counters, it becomes a creature that's a 3/2 with flying and lifelink, and it only has 1 extra station level, but some of them have 2 or 3. So you can keep putting charge counters on past the number that you first see. And sometimes it'll turn into a better and better version, or something else will happen, get more stats or whatever. But the play pattern on all these spacecrafts sort of seems to be like, okay, you cast it, and then you have to like invest a bunch of your potential damage or blocking. Like you have to sacrifice some of your board just to get another creature online. And they all have flying, so like that's relevant, obviously. In Magic, flyers are good. But the other thing I noticed is just that like, you kind of have time in this limited format. Like the board stalls happen, right? Mm-hmm. And you often, and the warp creatures also, as we just mentioned, the warp creatures can lend their power to this. So sometimes it's only 1 or 2 warp spells that you need to cast in order to get your spaceships online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
like
so a Bygone Colossus,
right? Yeah,
it's not a great card.
You would think,
yeah, but the it's the 9/9 robot giant for 9.
Yeah.
But it has warp for 3 generic mana. So this puts basically, I think, every spacecraft online.
Probably all the common and uncommon ones are doing something as soon as they have like 8 or 9 counters. There are some rares, I think, that you need 12, but it's still it's doing most of the work of even the rare and mythic spacecraft to turn them into creatures. So this is like your one-shot spacecraft combo solution. Mm-hmm. Where it's going to do most of the work of stationing every card that has station. And yeah, this card, until you've played and realized the interaction between the warp cards and the station cards, this card looks really weird.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, that's a weird unplayable donkey. Like,
Yeah,
why would you do that?
Yeah, it doesn't trample, doesn't have vigilance.
No abilities except warp. Yeah, it's like a vanilla 9/9 on the table. But then, yeah, it crews every spaceship. And then, I don't know, so I guess with extra mana, because warp 3 is not nothing, we already pointed out the Umbral Caller Zealot and the Perigee Beckoner.
Yes.
So, like, if you put all those cards together with the Bygone Colossus warped in, you can also just get it back into play. And there's a few different tricks inside the set for like, oh, hey, I see you warped a creature in. Be a shame if I exiled it from the battlefield and then returned it to the battlefield, right? Like, so you can get around the full mana cost of these warp creatures, but just their main function of like, do whatever they say plus station your spacecraft. Sometimes that's really good, right? Because the payoff on some of these station cards is worth.
Yeah, some of the cards are just like, hey, you have a 4/4 flying or 4/5 flying card or like something like that. That's just like by far the biggest thing on the board.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I don't want to. If I'm playing like I like the idea of paying for these costs with warp cards. I'm less excited about committing a bunch of my board
for sure.
To, putting in 9 counters to get something online.
It's interesting design space because there will be times when it's wrong to station your spacecraft even though your creature isn't attacking and then also doesn't block because your opponent doesn't want to attack.
Well, your opponent didn't attack because my creature could block.
Exactly, right? Like, so you just end up in these board stalls where like every creature, every piece on the board is doing its job and doesn't have time to station your spacecraft because then they'll tip the balance into you having to make a bad block or lose too many life points and then be in range of something else, right? So it's interesting design space, it turns out. Like, whereas when I first saw these station cards, I was a little leery. I was like, this just seems like a trap, like if you tap all your creatures to turn this spacecraft into a creature, like that's going to lead you losing the game most of the time. But the other thing is it does replace one of the creatures, at least the tap for power, right?
That's true. When I did my one sealed, I have to admit I've got very little experience in the format thus far.
Oh yeah, I have none at all. I just watched some games.
Oh, okay. In my one sealed, I was like fairly bullish on getting the spacecraft online.
Right. You want to do the thing because it's fun. Yeah.
Well, and just to see how it was and stuff like that. And there's a spacecraft that comes with a free 2/2. Okay. Like it enters and it gives you a 2/2, and typically I would tap that to it. But if you're in a go wide deck, like a white weenie deck, like that, you can usually spare a couple of like extra 1/1s every turn and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't know. It seems very, like you said, it's very situational. I definitely think I killed myself one game because I too aggressively stationed it. I definitely think getting that station online saved me in another game because it just meant they couldn't like get me in the air with their flyer.
Right. So it's actually like, an interesting decision point.
Yes.
Yeah. Please don't go away from this podcast thinking that like you've got to draft all the station cards, or you should never draft all the station cards, or when you get one in play, you should always turn it on and tap all your creatures to its ability, or vice versa. You should only get the comes into play effect and then try to ignore it. It's like it seems like a well-designed set of cards where it's like each one kind of makes you ask the question inside the game.
So we mentioned that Virus Beetle originally showed up in Kamigawa, and this, like I said, this kind of makes me puts me in the Kamigawa headspace of sometimes Kamigawa would be like, I don't really know what to do here. Like my path is not super clear because there's so many different variables on the board, which I love in a draft format, right? And I think that's one of the reasons that everybody really liked Duskborn is the rooms gave you a little bit more play of like when you were going to unlock them and their abilities and stuff like
the
that.
Delirium cards too, like interesting puzzle and like various strengths of cards in different positions.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, I'm getting like hints of like there's a lot of those different decision points that keep the format fresh and interesting and let you do really degenerate things sometimes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Like our experience at the PPR was there were 2 decks that played red and green. Like you had a Naya deck.
Yes, I had
and Tori played
green-white, I thought.
Green-white.
Yeah.
Tori and I were in the mirror match.
Right.
And I just wanted to like ask about further experiences with red in this format. Not that it's weak, because I think Ben Wheeler also might have
We saw Ben Ulmer play, I want to say
right.
Grixis. And
Right,
then,
right.
well, Wheeler might have also played red. I didn't catch Wheeler's match.
I actually highlighted a card from my... I didn't get to play a lot of the red in my deck. The red was the splash. But I had a card that I really liked. I mean, aside from all the removal, which is always good, there's a lightning bolt with void. It's like it's a shock, and if you have void,
Right,
it's a
yeah,
lightning
the
bolt.
Blast or plasma blast or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's 1 red mana. It might be sorcery, but it's 1 red mana,
right.
and it can deal 3 damage to any target, but you need to have void on. Thank you. Plasma bolt. Yeah, it's sorcery. So it always deals 2 damage to any target, so like a sorcery shock. And then it deals 3 damage instead if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was warped this turn. So that's the final like new ability we haven't talked about yet on this episode of the podcast is Void, which is an interesting sort of new version of Morbid or Revolt. So non-land permanent left the battlefield under anyone's control or a spell was warped.
It makes those... that makes that sack outlet even better.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because not only does the sack outlet synergize with your when this dies cards and sacrifice cards, but also synergizes intrinsically with any of your void cards.
Yeah. Like this will go live off lander tokens.
Right.
But not fetch lands.
Nope.
Right. Yeah, those lander tokens. All right, we didn't really talk about lander tokens a ton yet today,
But I want to talk about
Yes.
lander tokens because this card I think is great. This is the Terra Pact Intimidator. It's a 2/1 for 2. And it says, when this creature enters, target opponent may have you create 2 lander tokens if they don't put 2+1/+1 counters on this creature. Wow. So it's a 4/3 for 2, or you get 2 lander tokens. And as far as I'm concerned, either way, I am very pleased.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, offering your opponent dilemmas instead of problems is,
Your land or my blades. I mean, like, they are very, like, the flavor text, perfection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, like, I think, because the Cav love to, like, get in there, but they're also the landfall
Right.
color, right? Like, this is actually what I thought. My problem with my trying to build red, because I got a couple of, like, quite good red rares.
Okay.
But just did not have the support in those colors to make them work. And red feels quite prescriptive to me
Okay.
in this format, where it wants, like, it feels a bit Bloomburrow-y.
Okay, you've got a certain lane you need to get into.
Yes,
right. You're either doing the raccoon deck or you're doing the mouse deck. Kinda,
Yes,
maybe you're doing the lizard deck, right, or the otter deck, but it's one of those.
Yes, it has to be. Like, it feels like it needs a lot of support, which might not happen in sealed.
Okay,
right. But like, I feel the red decks in draft might be really strong.
Okay.
As I recall, Blueburrow draft red was strong. Was it not?
Yeah,
for sure.
But just that, like, the red decks in this format, I think, need to be quite deep into their thing. Whereas, like, black deck, blue deck, white deck can just kind of, like, flounce around and, like, pick up good cards and will still do stuff.
So I didn't...
Whereas,
Okay,
Go
I have a
ahead.
question about blue because I didn't run blue in my sealed. Partially because I had very good white and pretty good green and some green and red cards that I wanted to play. So I didn't run blue. But blue to me seems very like I want to do the other blue things, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Blue cares a lot about artifacts.
Yes.
Like, there's the 4-drop Michan.
Right.
That is an artifact and wants to put a counter on something.
Right. When it enters, do you need to sacrifice something? Yeah, you can sacrifice a creature or artifact.
Yes.
Can you bring up the 3 in a blue Mechan? It's got Mechan in its name.
Let me
James.
find it. I had it.
Cameron had 2 of them in the PPR, I think. We called it Michan.
Yeah, Adam actually had 2 of them too. And
Oh,
used them
okay,
to
yeah.
kill me.
Right.
Just because
dare.
these are self-craft mechans.
Self-craft Mechan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
4/5 is pretty big.
Yeah,
this
4/5 is pretty big. So this is interesting because it also it says only artifact, right? So it's got I'm gonna guess blue white deck is kind of artifact matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe the blue black deck also or whatever, but Yeah, a three and a blue for a 3/4 artifact Vidalcan Artificer. When it enters, you may sacrifice an artifact. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and draw a card.
So even if this is your only creature after you're done, you're still very happy to get a 4/5 that draws you a card for 4.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You turn whatever your artifact you were lying around that you didn't need into a card and a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah.
This can be your only creature on the board when you cast it. It can absolutely target itself. You can also even cycle it. It doesn't say sacrifice another artifact. Like if you just
Desperately need a card.
need to. Oh wait, I'm sorry. The triggered ability won't resolve if you don't have a creature to put the +1/+1 counter on, because it does say when you do put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and draw a card. So that triggered ability needs a target. Now, if they have a creature, it doesn't say target creature you control. So yeah, tons of flexibility, and in the very bottom end of value you can get, you could pay 4 to put a +1/+1 counter on your opponent's creature and draw a card if you just absolutely need to draw answer to whatever.
Yeah, and what seemed to make Adam extremely happy was feeding this a cryogen relic.
Right, Cryogen
Yes.
Relic.
Which just wants to go to the bin anyhow.
We love that thing. Yeah, 1 and a blue for an artifact that says when it ETBs, you draw a card, or when it leaves battlefield.
Leaves the when it enters or leaves the battlefield, draw a card.
Right.
And then it has a self-sacrifice clause where you pay 1 and a blue, sacrifice this artifact, put a stun counter on up to 1 target tapped creature.
So hot, and you don't have to do that sorcery.
Nope.
So yeah, we love drawing cards. We love rocks that do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this one likes to combo with Michan.
Yeah.
But as a pretty solid card on its own, I think too.
Yeah, just strictly better Phyrexian Plank. Strictly better. I'm pointing at the camera for those of you who are listening on the podcast, but this just in every metric is better.
That's right.
Yes. Than
You try to tell me that
Dark
you
Steel Ingot.
Not Dark
Ichor
Steel.
Wellspring. Yeah,
Ichor
you
Wellspring.
try to tell me that you played Ichor Wellspring in a deck that didn't have 1 and a blue. And
Yeah.
Then all the
Yeah.
mono red Duretti players are like, in the comments, I can't put it in Duretti. Yeah. Fair enough.
Well,
I'll put you in Duretti.
Yeah, exactly. No, but we do love Cryogen Relic, even if
Great card.
even if it doesn't go into ready.
even if Ichor Wellspring is still a magic card. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about mythics at all, or should we try to keep it to commons and uncommons?
I mean, I have one mythic that's really good.
yeah, I wouldn't mind talking about that one and the other one Tori had. Yeah, why don't you introduce that card?
Well, Tori and I had
We both had that one.
We
right?
were
Yeah.
playing literally the mirror match. And the card that we both had, that was probably the best card in both our decks, I assume, was Cosmo Grand Zenith, which obviously is a mythic rare. It is 2 and a white, and it's a human soldier. It's a 2/4 already. I'm like, okay. And it says, whenever you cast your second spell each turn, choose one, create 2/1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Gross.
Yeah.
That card's been
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each.
pushed.
Why each?
So
Doesn't say each other. Or
there-
anything,
Yeah,
too.
no,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
there's a white weenie sub theme.
for sure. I mean, it's a mythic, so you're not going to run into it too often. But I do think it's important, even if you're like coming to the show from a limited perspective, to like consider the rares and mythics, because every deck's got some, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't usually go through a draft without like being steered or like guided by one rare or a few rares or mythics.
Well,
or
and
whatever.
especially nowadays that we have the different boosters, the play boosters.
Right. Yeah. These
So
days there's
they-
3 rares in a pack or whatever. Right.
Yeah. I had a 3 rare pack in my sealed pool.
Yeah.
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 It
I mean,
happens.
every 6 packs probably there's one that has 3 rares. Like I think it's pretty common to have,
And yeah,
with play boosters the way they are.
And
this is the first card. Make sure this is the first card you cast on turn 5 or 6 or 7.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cast this one first, then cast your second spell.
And then you'll just you can lose the game after that, I think.
and you're still feeling good.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
I'm not sure that people need us to tell them that this 2/4 for 3 is good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I assume some of the viewers are like, I don't know anything about this set yet, so like warn me.
That's true.
I also love how the artwork on this card, the white armor and the gold cloak, feels like the Palatinate have a very strong influenced by 1960s and 1970s NASA spacesuits
okay.
with the gold cloth and the white bodysuits,
Right.
to reflect radiation back out into space.
Okay.
Which is how I painted my Warhammer
Aw,
Space Elf pirates.
Nice.
They also have white armor and gold cloaks.
awesome.
And I saw these guys and I was like, yes,
We're so
yes.
back.
Yeah, we're so back.
Awesome. Yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah.
The whole set's pretty.
Right. Yeah, no, the art crushed it.
Speaking of other cards that you do not need us to tell you are good, but Sir Board Wipe.
Oh, Sir Vaughn.
Yes.
Yeah, Sir
Now, this one's
Vondum-
only an uncommon, right? Or do you
Yep.
mean
Yes.
the rare one? Okay.
No. The
Oh,
uncommon.
we might as well talk about the fact that Sir Vaughn. Yeah, so Sir Vaughn, James brought up the rare because this, I think, is the first time in the same set we've had multiple like legendary creatures that have the same name.
Lord of the Rings had a bunch of them, right? You had,
But were they separated by the Commander product or whatever? Because Final Fantasy also had.
I mean,
oh,
like, I
okay.
want to say there were like 14 or 15 Samwises in
Okay, in the main
Lord
set.
of the Rings,
All
or
right, maybe
Adventures
you're
in
right.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay, I thought that like unique characters in the lore were separated by whether it was in one product or the other
So I
before
could-
this one, but I could be wrong. And you know what? Let me know in the comments Cameron, you're probably right. Probably
So,
did do it already.
I can tell you that the different rarities reflect them at different points in their stories.
Right.
So this is like, you've got Tanuk Memorial Ensign or whatever like that, and then you have Tanuk Steadfast Second, and that's them at different points in their lives.
Right. So it represents the progression of the character. And so the upside here is that within the same set, because we don't do blocks anymore, you get to see a story progression, like sometimes within the same one pack that you've opened, right? And so that is kind of cool. From a weird sort of Magic purist angle, I guess I'm just like, I find it a little confusing and a little annoying, and I'd rather not have to deal with it. I also kind of miss blocks, by which I mean, if you don't know, like they used to keep 3 sets in a row, like throughout a calendar year or a school year, would all be set on the same plane back in the, boomer days of Magic. I don't know. Let's talk about this card because it's on the screen. A black-white for a 2/2 legendary human knight with vigilance and menace. And whenever another creature you control dies or is put into exile, put a +1/+1 counter on Servandum and you gain a life. And when Servandum dies or is put into exile while its power is 4 or greater, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent.
He vindicates.
Yeah. So, also just like a Judge Magister Galbranth or whatever, right? This one has vigilance as well. So like it also blocks. Just like put this down. You're attacking with menace and vigilance. It gets bigger every time you can make your other creatures die. Black has a bunch of ways to do that. And then if they do manage to deal with it, it's pretty mean that it says or is put into exile, right? You're always trading with their best non-land permanent. So pretty terrifying 2-drop that probably also going to see a lot of limited play, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know. You slam this on 2 and then just start feeding in 1-drops.
Yeah.
Like feed your 1-drop into your opponent's wood chipper. I don't care.
I mean, you
Like,
probably
Servandum just gets bigger.
You probably just flunge every turn, like unless they immediately have a fine block because of the menace. Like if you do get to put it down on 2, you probably just get to attack, and like they have to decide whether they're blocking favorably ish for themselves and growing Servandum if they have an answer for it or whatever eventually, or if they're just like taking damage from your little dudes. It's like
This card makes me kind of want to play standard.
nice. Okay, but the Servandum we wanted to talk about initially was
Is
the uncommon one,
which is I also had in my sealed pool.
right?
Yeah.
And yes, this card's really good.
Yeah, you play this. You play it just Servandum the Lucent. 2 white, black, legendary creature, human knight. He is a 4/4 with death touch and lifelink. There are some other words on his card which read, whenever Servandum enters or attacks, other creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain death touch until end of turn. If you can give him haste,
They'll get +2/+0
Yeah.
and double death touch.
and this is just like, Sir Board Wipe, right? Like this makes everything miserable.
Yeah, your attacks are good.
And
Yeah,
your
right.
blocks are good too, because he's a 4/4.
Yeah, 4/4 death touch lifelink, like you can get pretty aggressive as soon as this thing's on the table, because even if he trades in combat, like you're up 4 life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think every time we saw it hit the table at the PPR, it was like, oh, that's not good for the opponent. Yeah.
He's a nasty one. This is like mwah.
I must recommend countering this spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better if it doesn't hit the table.
Yeah. If you're my opponent, though, don't counter the spell. Let me play it.
Right.
Because it's really good.
Please let me do my thing. Let your opponent, who is me, do his thing.
Yeah. Other opponents you may disrupt.
Mm-hmm. In some ways, this is like the uncommon version of this other mythic that Tori had, Oroboroid. Green. Like they both do a mass pump, right? Same with Cosmogran Zenith we talked about. There's a bunch of like, hey, do you have a lot of creatures? Guess what? This one card makes them all bigger. But Oroboroid is a card I hadn't seen until the PPR. I think it's like kind of just outside of what we consider like serious Canadian Highlander bait, or we did talk about it on that podcast. I just forgot. But 2 green for a 1/3 plant worm with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control where X is the creature's power. So like, that's nuts. And we'll just kind of win a game in a couple turns if unanswered, possibly one turn, depending on what the board looks like.
On each creature you control.
So it just naturally makes itself bigger, meaning it puts more +1/+1 counters on all your creatures each turn that you get to combat with it.
This and Genova.
Yeah.
I think like it's just extremely bad news in Standard.
Right. Yeah, sure. You double up your 4-drops that make your piles of tokens bigger.
Yeah.
Bunny hop into this or whatever. Yeah. Pretty gross. But yeah, just be aware, like, it only has 3 toughness, but it gives itself the 4th toughness that turn. So this is just another one of those. I want everyone to at least leave the podcast if they're going into a limited event knowing, like, well, your opponent might have this or that, right?
Yeah.
Like, in case you're, like, considering in the first game where to put your removal spells. And it's like, well, that uncommon 2/2s may be a problem. It's like, well, or they might flop this, so just be careful.
Yeah. You might just die on turn 4 unless you keep up a removal spell.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, this is, it came down during the event, and I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that was possible.
At the beginning of combat?
Yeah.
Not on your end step?
No.
Not on the beginning of, like, not at your upkeep?
And just the fact that it
You
puts
get
counters
paid
on
off
itself.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we would have played this card if it just didn't put counters on itself,
Yeah.
too, right?
I read this card and I was
I'm
like...
not missing anything there, right? Like, that seems like a great card.
No, I read this card and I was like, wow. I mean, it doesn't put counters on itself, but it's still so good. And wait, it does. It does.
Yeah, wasn't this like Abzan Ascendancy 10 years ago?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Like, this is going to be one of those cards where you're like, I was able to fight through an Oroboroid. And all your friends are going to be like, what, really? What did you do? Like, how'd that happen? We want to hear the story.
Right.
Please tell the story of how you defeated an Oroboroid.
Yeah, tell us, Mr. Frodo. I want to know what it was like to be able to beat a Roboroid. We've never heard of that before.
Any other cards that really struck your two's fancies? I know Cameron prepared a thick list. I had a few cards, but I think I've gotten to most everything I wanted to talk about.
Mainly, I just want to talk about like Lander tokens being great.
Yeah, what is a Lander token?
Judge Nelly.
So a Lander token is made by several of the cards in this set, and it's a new type of artifact token called Lander, and token type Lander artifact. It says 2 and tap and sacrifice this token. Search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle.
You can do that on your opponent's turn.
It's the rampant growth ability, but you don't have to do it at sorcery.
Yeah, they decided to just make Wayfarer Bauble into a token.
Yes.
Wayfarer Bauble is no longer worth a card, along with Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, Tarmogoyf also turned into a token last year, right? So yeah, I really like this card, or this token, this ability. I really like this direction for additional value that you get out of cards, and it's really up my alley to play a limited style that's looking to kind of survive into a mid game, get lots of lands, and then have lots of options.
I like this because the land always gets me in limited games. I don't know if you've watched me play Magic the Gathering, but it feels like a good 85 to 95% of my games I lose because I either draw land or do not draw land.
Right.
Which is, the selection bias. That's my memory. I probably have a fairly decent record. But, like, you know those games where you just don't draw the land you need for 3 turns and then you die?
Or you desperately need your splash or a second color.
Yep.
Lander gets it. Lander is like, you need that second plains to cast Servandum the Uncommon? Got you, boo.
Yep. And like, you don't even need to be 5-color greed in order for Lander tokens to feel good.
No, you can
like,
still be a 2-color deck. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's still
I feel
nice.
just like
Yeah.
just pulling a land and it comes in tapped. Like, that's fine. It goes right to the battlefield. It doesn't go into the hand. It goes to the battlefield.
You untap with it next turn.
Yeah.
You crack that Lander token at the end of your opponent's turn anyhow.
Yeah.
Like God
Unless you
willing.
need to keep it for void, you know,
Yeah,
it's
or
got this
for-
extra play to
That's
it. Right?
true.
Or
That's
for
true.
landfall, like,
Yeah.
this really brings the hammer on landfall. But it doesn't have to, right? Sometimes you just get an island and it feels nice.
We talked about Terra Pact.
my spells.
Yeah, we talked about Terra Pact Intimidator, but I think the most common Lander token creating card we saw was a black common.
Oh, yeah.
For 1 and a
some
black
Prospector.
Beam Saw. Yeah,
Beam Saw Prospector.
Beam Saw Prospector.
Yeah, a little piker.
Yes, a 2/1 human artificer with when this creature dies, create a Lander token and no other text. So basically, like, this guy is going to be in charge of so many awful looking keeps that I make, and then get bounced or countered or like tapped down forever.
Don't say that.
Well, I'm just like that's the truth. Or they'll just play flyers and like I try to attack or whatever. But the fact that it doesn't have a way to kill itself, but it does say like, hey, I only have 1 toughness. Like, are you planning to attack me with creatures? Maybe I'm going to get a Lander token. You're going to have to deal with that. And like, for me, that's always just kind of enough. It's like, it's like this hand has 3 lands, right? It's not quite. That's bad Magic thinking, I guess. But
I mean, kind of, though, because you can pay as long as this.
yeah, if you have the mana to cast this guy, you have the Lander token mana.
Exactly.
It's either like the most beautifully designed card to like get you ready to play the format, or the biggest trap.
Yep.
And we're gonna find out in 6 weeks or so.
Remember to tie back your hair when touching the lathe of heaven.
Are we talking you into making bad, sketchy keeps?
Yes,
must be tapped out, concede.
absolutely.
Let us know on Blue Sky how we hosed your draft.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else felt really good? I don't know. This just feels like every color combo is lightly borrowed from a different format.
Okay.
But in a good way. Like red feels very prescribed, like Bloomburrow, right? Sure. Like Bloomburrow I didn't like because if you had to find your lane immediately and hope that nobody else was in your lane.
The draft
Otherwise,
portion
your
also
deck
wasn't
fell apart.
super exciting because you knew that like you just had to get into one of these guilds.
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of room for creativity. It was just build the best 2-color deck you can in whatever pair you decided on.
Yeah, and then sometimes it was like, well, I guess I'm going to enjoy my half a frog deck.
Right. Yeah.
And like I don't know, I will have to see how red pans out. Because it feels like the Kav really want other Kavu, and if there's another Kavu drafter, then maybe you're just out of luck. But the like the blue-white Surge deck,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
That
Cast
cares
2
about
spells. Yeah.
casting 2 spells, Cosmic Grand Zenith, great payoff for that in Mythic. But like,
Not the only payoff though.
yeah, casting 2 spells is kind of its own payoff.
There's a white common that's there's 3 and a white, and it just says whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature and draw a card.
Right.
Great,
Yeah.
yeah, love that.
That's a fantastic
Yeah.
extra payoff.
And it's a 3/3 base stats.
Yes.
And I don't remember what it's called, and I'm sorry, James.
And then like the blue artifact deck feels like my favorite deck from LCI.
Oh, nice.
You were talking about Sunstar Lightsmith, 3 and a white. Yeah, 3/3. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good enough, and that's
4 mana. Yeah, but still.
my experience with that is that most people killed it on site.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Anything that can threaten to draw more than one other card.
but there's enough
That's usually
one
a problem.
drops in the format that you could get this down and get it online on turn 4
yeah.
or on turn 5.
I wouldn't mind talking about the spaceships a little bit more if we have time.
I think
Please do.
we're going to have time to talk about spaceships, and we're going to wrap it up.
Sounds good. So I think the most common one I saw played was Wormwall Sweeper. This is only 2 generic mana, so it can go in any deck. And it says when the spacecraft enters Surveil 2, and it only requires a station of 4 to become a 2/2 flying. So this is going to be a lot of people's like introduction to like how good is spacecraft. With only 4 charge counters required to make a 2/2 flyer, you can potentially be tapping 1 creature, and you could even potentially be tapping 1 warped creature, right? Like if you warp in the Perigee Beckoner,
Yes, exactly.
it has 4 power, right? So it almost feels, and don't get tricked, it almost feels like a 2/2 flyer for 2 in some games, right? It's maybe not going to attack the first turn it could, or block the first turn it could, but eventually, yeah, you spent 2 mana and you maybe had 4 spare power lying around.
But the game where you bring down the Monoist Sentry on turn 1,
Oh yeah,
play this on turn 2, crew it.
attack on turn 3.
Yeah, that's going to feel great.
Plus, Surveil 2 is a big deal. Like that's another way. It's another 2-drop that can trick you into keeping 2 lands. Because you're going to see like 5 cards before you would have gotten to your 3rd land if you haven't, right? Like you can dig, you draw.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I guess on the play, it's like you draw turn 2, and then you Surveil 2. So you've gone through 3 before you're on. I have to draw a land to make my drop, right? Like Surveil 2 is good, is all I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
And then related to spacecraft, like we talked about 1-drops a bit, there's one that Tori played a lot called Hemosymbic Might.
Yes.
This is 1 green mana for a 1/1 creature that says whenever this becomes tapped, another target creature you control gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is this creature's power. And we also mentioned that you can keep stationing your spacecraft and planets. And sometimes you'll choose to just to get this, like, there's kind of a loose cycle throughout, I think, most of the colors that have a when this becomes tapped ability. Maybe it's not just blue-green. There's definitely a black one at common as well. So the Hemosymbic Might, obviously, if you can pair it with anything to give its power, get its power higher.
Like an Ouroboros?
Well, or maybe even an uncommon equipment or something, or an enchantment, like who knows. But any way you can put random bonus power on this thing means you can kind of double up on that and put that on your flyer or whatever. Plus, if you have spacecraft, you can use this for free without having to attack with your delicate 1/1. And then the other one I saw a fair bit of at the PPR was Nanoform Sentinel in blue. This is 2 and a blue for a 3/2 artifact creature robot with whenever this creature becomes tapped, untap another target permanent, but this triggers only once each turn. So you can't
don't get
twiddle
any
2
big
of them
ideas
infinitely forever. Yeah. But it does mean that you can crew with something else, then crew with this, then crew with the first thing again. So if you just played like 2/2 for 2 Grizzly Bears on turn 2, and then this, and then on turn 4 you play like a spaceship that has like a 12 mana or a 12 charge counters thing, you'll still probably get to attack with that spaceship on turn 5.
Worth noting, there's a word missing from this card.
Oh darn! What is it?
Non-token.
Non-land.
Right, that is worth noting.
Oh.
yeah, that's not errata. Cameron's being cute.
Yeah.
So this is a secret mana dork as well. Even if you don't have a spaceship, you can attack with it and untap your land and cheat ahead on mana as long as you're able to cast 2 spells. Or if you have the spacecraft, then you can fully ramp.
I said non-token because I think small.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, and this like also helps get rid of like stun counters on things or any of those creatures that like come down tapped.
Right.
Because they would be unfair otherwise.
Yeah. So I just think keeping in mind this kind of like loose cycle, I'm not sure if it's in all of the colors, but there's several creatures that say when this becomes tapped. And so if you're drafting and you've taken like a rare spacecraft or like 2 or 3 spacecraft in pack 1 or whatever, you might just want to like watch out for these creatures. They're mostly like decent on their own as well, but they might be like not in your color at first or whatever, or just to be aware, like those might be better in your deck.
Right.
Yeah.
On the note of cards that present your opponents with dilemmas, I wanted to bring up the blue miscalc.
Oh,
in
great
this set.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Which is Brain, help me out here.
It's
it's the one that I moved to the top of my pile. Divert Disaster.
Nice.
Disaster is a Latin word meaning bad star. 1 and a blue, instant counter target spell unless its controller pays 2 generic mana. If they do, you create a lander token. Feels great.
Yeah, either counter their spell or you go get a land.
Yeah.
There's something to do on turn 2.
Yeah. Also, if you've got a lander token, they don't need to know that you have this in hand because maybe you're just holding up 2 mana to crack your lander token.
Right. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Doesn't get telegraphed if you've got things to do with your mana. And also the fear of playing like Quench, Miscalculation, Mana Leak type cards, especially for new players, but for anyone. Anytime you're building your deck, you're like, do I want conditional counterspells? Is that going to work for my strategy? The fear is always the downside of like, well, late game, nothing happens. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
nothing happens. This
tap mana that they weren't using. But this, takes care of you.
Yeah, it gives you a fail state. It's not an exciting fail state, but it's something, right?
That depends on your deck. If you have landfall or you're sacrificing that artifact to a Michan,
That's
maybe it
true.
is pretty exciting.
Yeah. One other spacecraft I kind of want to talk about, it's at common, is the Pinnacle Kill Ship,
Okay.
which is 7 generic mana for a colorless artifact.
Oh, yes.
It is a spacecraft with a, at 7 station, it gains flying for a 7/7. But the important line of text on this one is when the spacecraft enters, it deals 10 damage to up to 1 target creature.
God, name something that WotC loves more than printing unconditional removal, but have it cost 7 and come stapled on an artifact.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of Universal Solvent.
Yeah. The one that this actually reminds me of is Meteor Golem.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Close connection there. Instead of a 3/3, you eventually get a 7/7 flying.
Yeah.
Arguably better.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of this.
Okay.
Right? Does it blow away everything in the format? Mostly.
Yeah. It
At 7
gets rid of
mana?
that 9/9.
Yeah.
Look, if 10 damage doesn't kill their Ouroboros, you were dead anyway.
Yes, right. Yeah, excellent point. I just feel like there's a way to get this out super early in this format that I'm missing.
Some sort of
Landfall.
channel.
Yeah, or some kind of cost reduction mechanic. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing it. But I want to like this, but I also feel like including this is going to make me feel bad.
Cameron, what you have to do is play a Nanoform Sentinel on turn 3.
Right.
And then a Nanoform Sentinel on turn 4. And then
Yeah.
on turn 5, you can cast your Pinnacle Kill Ship. And then you can crew it immediately.
Oh, man. Oh, baby.
Not
Yeah.
bad.
We did it. We got there.
Yeah, we broke Pinnacle Kill Ship.
All right. Well, I don't know. I don't have any other cards to talk about. I just got to play more.
Actually, there's one final
Okay,
card
last
I want to
card.
talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Code Cracker Hound. 2 and a blue. It's a dog. It's a 2/1. When this creature enters, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Great.
It's Organ
Love
Hoarder.
that.
Yeah. Or a little bit like Seagate Oracle.
Yeah,
for
Seagate
the
Oracle
mana
was
cost.
the one I thought of.
Yeah. Organ Hoarder
but-
does the trigger to the graveyard. That part's them. Yeah.
But warp 2 and a blue.
Oh, my God.
So you get this twice.
It's just 2 Organ Hoarders stapled together?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad for a little dog.
I'm going to let you know in advance how LSV feels about this card.
Value. Yeah, it's like a dog millipede, I guess. It's got like 12. It has many sets of legs.
I was barely able to contain myself because during the PPR, someone cast this, and I think Graham immediately went, "Was like, well, that's a dog with lots of legs," which is like exactly what my daughter at like age 2 called this like toy that she saw in an ad, which we then had to go get. Well, she didn't do that every week or anything, but it was like, yeah, okay, that is pretty cute. It Snuggles, like this toy that's like, it's just a regular looking dog, but like the legs move, like it can kind of walk a little bit, it can kind of turn its head, and it has some sound effects, uses batteries. But like the ad did, like, because the fur is like pretty soft and wispy, and like the dog was just kind of moving in the ad and the lighting that it had, it did sort of look like, wait, does it have 6 legs or something? No,
No.
it just had 4 legs and a tail, but like we had to do some research. Had to it took us a little while, and she just kept repeating like, it's a dog with lots of legs. I saw it. It's a dog with lots of legs. So I had to I hadn't heard that expression, like that exact sentence for like 5 years or something. I was like, oh man. I'm
All dogs have lots of legs.
going through it over here. Yeah.
But I like this guy.
Oh, yeah,
I like
this
this
is a
guy a
good
lot.
dog.
I don't usually like dogs, but
Second
here
best
I
dog in
am
the format.
being in favor of a dog
Yeah.
because it draws me 2 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love dogs. We love drawing cards. We love the format. But what do you think? Weigh in below. Tell us how you've been doing. Apparently, Google's wised up to the algorithm. So really, there is no other way to fool it into thinking you're watching this other than just by watching it, which I actually think might be a better change for us overall.
Yeah, and by the time you're watching this, which will be on Monday, the pre-releases will be over, so you'll be able to share your experiences.
Let us know how wrong we were about all these cards we said we
Yeah,
liked.
good
Yeah.
point. Yeah. Did we
Yeah.
hose you? Let us know.
Yeah, did you sleeve up a Roboroid and get demolished and then thrown out of your store while everyone laughed at you? That would be kind of an interesting experience. I'd love to
I
hear
think
that
that
story.
might not have something to do with the Roboroid.
It might be more of a you problem at that point.
But you know what? Feel free to weigh in the comments anyhow. And while you're at your computer and, engaging and stuff like that, why not engage by heading over to cardkingdom.com and use the affiliate code /LRR and say Loading Ready Run sent me button, please. And you'll get a 1-inch button when you order your Edge of Eternities cards, if you're going to do that. And if you are going to be ordering cards, why not sleeve them? Go to Dragon Shield's website and use code LRRMTG5 to get 5% off your order. And if you're like, no commerce, only give. I need no take. Respect. I am also a minimalist in life. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Throw us $5. Consider it your digital magazine subscription.
Mm-hmm.
I think that basically covers it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been tons of fun. I am hyped for the set. Thank you, Cameron and Nelson, for your opinions.
Thank you for listening to them.
Thank you, James, for running tech.
James died 5 years ago.
Wow, James is not even paying attention. I could say what I want. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are the best band in the world.
Well, do you actually believe that?
That you're not listening to me?
No, that the King Giz is the best band in the world. I don't think you believe that.
Wow.
I mean, I think they might be the best current touring band.
What if they're listening?
That's fair. If they're listening, they should come hang out.
That's pretty high praise.
Yeah.
If
Come on
they're
the
listening,
pre-release.
Come to Victoria. Come hang out.
Yeah, come play
King
Magic
Giz,
the Gathering.
come on the pod.
Wait. Actually, you know who I think the best band that plays Magic the Gathering is right now?
Oh.
The Mountain Goats.
Post Malone?
The other best band that plays Magic the Gathering?
Who?
Lip Critic, baby, who just put out a new single. So if you're looking to promote your new single, why not promote it by playing Magic with us?
Ooh,
Nice.
I'll have to listen to that.
And I guess James is listening, so take your compliment, James.
Thank you. Yeah, I just didn't want to turn on the mic because it's a little loud in here with a fan,
Oh,
but it's probably fine.
I-
I'm blocking it with my big dumb head.
oh, your head's lovely. All right, well, that does it. We've given everybody compliments. I've given you some compliments because you're so nice for listening to us. Until next time, this has been Tap Tap Concede. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks to all our loud fans.